Let me show you some examples of the videos real transformer can create for you.
Everything he had built was crumbling, and losing his biggest customer felt like the final blow. Losing his biggest customer wasn't just a hit to his ego, it felt like the end of everything he'd built. He slumped in his chair, staring at the dwindling numbers in his account. How would he pay his team? How would he keep the lights on? Days turned into weeks. He watched his savings disappear like a mirage, and despair settled in. But one night, as he lay awake, his mind raced with questions. What if this wasn't the end, but a new beginning? Determined, he pulled out the old business plan he'd set aside years ago. Flipping through the pages, he stumbled upon a forgotten idea, a model focused on smaller clients, one that had seemed too risky at the time. Was it too late to pivot? He felt a flicker of hope. He started reaching out, focusing on local businesses that had been overlooked. At first it felt slow, almost pointless, but then something changed. He began to see excitement in the eyes of these smaller clients, a hunger for his services that he hadn't realized was there. Months later, he was back in the office. But this time, the atmosphere was electric. With a diverse portfolio, his income was steadier than ever. Losing that customer had forced him to rethink everything, revealing a business model that not only survived but thrived. As he glanced around at his bustling team, he smiled. He had thought losing it all would break him, but instead it had set him free. In that moment, he understood. Sometimes what feels like the end is only the beginning.
So that was one. Let me show you another one.
Every night he watched as his baby's skin grew redder, and he felt utterly powerless to help. Days turned into weeks, yet every doctor he visited just shook their heads, unable to provide any answers. Each sleepless night was filled with worry, wondering what was causing his child's discomfort. What could possibly be the hidden enemy behind those angry rashes? He felt alone in his desperation, missing the simplicity of life before sleepless nights and endless doctor visits. As he sat in the dim light, scrolling through countless forums and articles, he stumbled upon a post that caught his eye. Someone mentioned the potential dangers lurking in ordinary laundry detergents. Could it really be that simple? His heart raced as he recalled the recent switch to a new, fragrant detergent. The very product he thought would bring freshness was possibly harming his baby. He felt a flicker of hope mixed with fear. What if he was right? What if this was the breakthrough he desperately needed? He dashed to the laundry room, pulling the brightly colored bottle from the shelf. The ingredients stared back at him, unfamiliar and chemical-laden, nothing like the products his grandmother used. His mind raced as he read about natural alternatives. It was time for a change. That very night, he tossed the detergent into the trash, feeling a weight lift off his shoulders. In its place, he embraced a natural solution, a homemade laundry detergent crafted with love. Days passed, and with each wash, he noticed something miraculous. The rashes began to fade, and his baby's laughter filled the house again. Sometimes, the answers we seek are hidden in the most unexpected places. In the quest for answers, he had found something far more valuable: the power of choice and the beauty of going natural.
And let me show you one more.
For 5 long years, Jake meticulously plotted his revenge. Each day, he scribbled notes in a worn-out notebook, outlining every detail, every slight he'd endured, every betrayal. He had been wronged, and he was determined to make them pay. The anger fueled him, each moment a step closer to his grand plan. But as the years wore on, something began to shift. Nights were once filled with adrenaline and anticipation, but now they grew heavy with doubt. Jake would lay awake, staring at the ceiling, the weight of his anger like a lead blanket pressing down on him. He often asked himself, is it worth it? Then on a crisp autumn day, he received a message, a simple text from an old friend, inviting him to a reunion. Hesitant, he almost ignored it, but something urged him to attend. As he walked into that familiar space filled with laughter and stories, he felt a warmth he hadn't experienced in years. The faces of people who once meant the world to him surrounded him. In that moment, he realized how much he missed genuine connections. Conversations flowed, and with each exchanged smile, the fire of revenge flickered. The laughter reminded him of happier times, moments that had been overshadowed by bitterness. He watched as the people he wanted to hurt shared their own struggles, their own regrets. As the evening continued, Jake felt a flicker of hope. What if he didn't need revenge? What if he could turn this anger into something else? The next morning he opened his notebook, not to plot revenge, but to write a new chapter, one of healing, forgiveness, and moving forward. And just like that, everything shifted.
So you just saw how powerful these videos are, how amazing the background is. So you don't have to do any of this. You've seen how simple it is to give it the seed idea and then it crafts the actual story. Now, what are you waiting for? Start creating your own.